From Cape Town, our next stop was the famous wine country, the Stellenbosch region. A new season was turning the vines from green to gold. Here the grapes grow richly and full of character. South African wines are beginning to make their mark on the world scene. Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnays and award-winning sweet dessert varieties. It was the Dutch settlers who started this tradition. The 300-year-old Spears wine farm has one of the country's oldest cellars, the old Cape Dutch buildings beautifully preserved. Traditions passed on from generation to generation, the heart and soul of making wine.
Often guys are producing wine. If you do it just as a job, in 5 years' time you will be out of a job. You must love the grape which you work with, and you must love the industry, the product that you work with.
The best part of this job, putting the product to the taste test. 1996 was considered one of this winery's best years.
96 was an extremely good year, 97 wasn't so good. We haven't had a year like 96 since. But that's the art of winemaking. You have to take every year as it comes and make from it the best that you can. So yes, 96 was for Noble Adar was beautiful.
Some of the profits from the wine sales here go to a good cause, a breeding program for the endangered cheetah. Here on the farm you can get up close to one of the world's big cats.
Now, if this was a lion or a leopard, I wouldn't be here giving it a stroke. Cheetahs are very gentle. Actually, their disposition is probably their greatest enemy. It's because they are so gentle that people have always wanted them as pets. They're more inclined to get up and run away than they are to attack you. It's actually purring. It's like a pussycat.
The town of Stellenbosch itself is home to one of South Africa's major universities. Explore the tree-lined streets and small museums. On the road again, we ventured into farm country. At the cosy Rosenview guest house, we watched the sunset over a not too distant Table Mountain. This was the perfect place to curl up with a good book and a glass of wine, of course.
This is such a lovely spot.
Yeah. I must say, after 11 years on this farm, it's still really, really beautiful to my mind.
The mornings here will take your breath away. It was then back to Cape Town. Our train was about to leave. It was all aboard the famous Blue Train, one of the most luxurious ways to travel across South Africa. Our trip would take us to Johannesburg, 27 hours of pampering.
Goodbye, Cape Town.
Mr. Bull, as I met you this morning, I hope you have a pleasant journey with me all the way to Johannesburg. Could I kindly just briefly explain to you all the facilities we do have up in our room?
The Blue Train glides through an ever-changing landscape. From the observation car, it's pure pleasure to just sit and watch the world pass by. There are actually 2 trains on the Blue Train line. You can also venture by rail to the famous Victoria Falls. Whatever direction you take, the journey is still the same. Luxury plus.
The Blue Train line first started running just after the Second World War in 1946. Today it's regarded as the best in the world and certainly among the most luxurious. From my own experience, I have to admit that getting back on board a crowded aircraft is not going to be easy.
I've traveled quite a bit. I've been across Australia on the train, throughout Europe, quite a bit in North America as well. And the Blue Train has the reputation of being the best train in the world, and it's lived up to that. So I think it's a great way to see the countryside that you don't get to see from an airplane. It's a great way to meet people from all over the world. Just the social aspects. There's something about sleeping in a train car at night. It's very relaxing.
Sheer luxury. I mean, I do quite a lot of travelling by train, but it tends to be business. You tend to be working all the time. But to come and experience like this, where you literally are being pampered, you know, for 24 hours a day, it's wonderful. Yeah, a great, great experience.
There's one stop on the way. You can explore a tiny country town. The local guide, John, knows all the history as well as a few songs.
Are you lonesome tonight? Will you miss me tonight? Thank you very much.
This little town come from the 1800s, and it's called Fontein. I mean, that's actually the best little town in the whole South Africa. We stay now here. The train stop here for 1 hour with all the passengers, and then I just took him around and tell him the whole history. Now, I was born here and stayed for 31 years here. But if you come here, we got a big hotel. People stay there just for 380 rand per couple, including a big breakfast, and I'll be there with my Colgate smile.
Time to get back on board. I've got a dress for dinner.
As the day closed, the chefs kept up the pace, preparing a 6-course dinner. It's a journey you'll wish will never end.